Do you wish you had more confidence? I know that's something that a lot of college students and people struggle with, is how can I be more confident? So that's what we're going to talk about on this episode of College on Fleek. Hi, I'm Mary Dittman. I'm an award-winning business professor on the collegiate level and the creator of One-Derful Life and College on Fleek. In this episode, we're going to talk about how you can be more confident. But before we do that, we're going to take a motivation minute. Now, today's motivation minute is actually going to tie into our conversation about confidence. And so our motivation minute is to dress nicely. I know a lot of times in college you're tired, you're pulling all-nighters, you're not getting enough sleep, and who cares, I'm just going to class, and so you just kind of roll out of bed. I've seen students come to class in their pajamas, especially during final exam week, or just kind of throw on whatever they could find and roll into class. But here's the thing, if you'll dress nicely, number one, you'll feel better, okay? So you'll feel more put together, you'll feel more confident, but also number two, other people will treat you differently. Some of our guys at the school where I teach, every Wednesday when they're joining a fraternity, they all have to dress up like a coat and a tie. And they always look so sharp. I'm always so impressed with them. And it really makes a difference in how I view them. Now, I'm not saying that you have to wear a coat and tie, but if you just put a little bit of effort into what you're wearing. Also, you never know when you might have a guest speaker in a class. And many times a guest speaker is an important part of a network. It could be where you get your next job. So if you look decent, then you won't feel uncomfortable when you go up to shake the speaker's hand and thank them for speaking to your class. In every episode, we like to give you a study hack or a success hack. If you want the biggest study hack ever, then you should go to collegeonfleek.com and get the Study Smart Toolkit. That is the 3-step system that I put together for myself when I was in college because I had terrible test anxiety. And when I started teaching, I found a lot of my students struggle with taking exams as well. And over the years, the Study Smart Toolkit has helped hundreds of students. Now, I can't make a guarantee, but I've seen my students go from D's and F's to A's and B's on the very next exam using the techniques in the Study Smart Toolkit. It's free, so go to collegeonfleek.com and get that Study Smart Toolkit. All right, here's a success hack, and you're not going to like it. Put your phone away. When you're in class or in a meeting, put your phone away. It's so distracting, and you think, well, I can listen and pay attention to my phone. No, you can't. You're going to miss what's going on in the class. Not to mention, it does not make a good impression with your professor. But put your phone away. You can be without your phone for a 50 or 75-minute class. Just put it away and pay attention. Be present and pay attention to what's happening in the class. That's how you do well in classes. All right, now let's get into our content today. We're going to talk about how to be more confident. And notice I'm not saying how to feel confident, because you may not feel confident, but you can still act confident. And the truth is, a lot of people don't feel confident. College students, a lot of your professors, the number one thing that I'm asked to speak about when I speak to professional groups is confidence. So it's not just you who's struggling here. These are just some quick ideas that you can implement immediately that will help you feel more confident. Number one, get people talking, and get them talking about everybody's favorite subject, themselves. So ask people questions. Hey, what's your major? Where are you from? Have you taken such and such class? Did you go to the basketball game? Are you going to the football game? Have you ever been to such and such restaurant or club or bar? Did you take notes in the last class? Anything to get people talking. They are going to feel more comfortable around you. They're going to think you're great. This is an interesting dynamic. When you let other people talk, they think you're interesting. I was on a date one time with somebody, and for the entire time, all he did was talk about himself. And at one point he asked me, he's like, well, where are you from? And I said, well, I went to high school in Florida. And that's all I got out of my mouth before he started talking about his own experience with Florida. And I literally, all he knew at the end of a 2-hour date, all he knew was where I worked and that apparently I lived in Florida. I literally could not get a word in. And I'm a talker. Well, after the date, he called me and he was like, I just think you're so interesting. You're the most fascinating woman I've ever met. And I was like, how would you even know that? Like, I didn't get to say anything. But he thought I was great because he got to do the talking. That's what you want. People will think you're pretty terrific if you let them talk. Number 2, smile. Now look, I know guys, you want to have like your street cred and you don't want to walk around looking like an idiot. I get that. But you're more approachable and you're more friendly looking if you're smiling. Your professors will think that you're interested. Other people will feel like they can talk to you. A lot of times what I'll do is if I'm going into a situation where I don't particularly feel confident, I will pretend I'm a celebrity and I'm walking into the room. So I'll pretend like, well, what would Oprah do? Or, how would Beyonce walk into the room? Well, she'd probably dance in with like sequins, and that's not always my thing. But just pretend you're a celebrity and own the room. Walk in with some stature. And the thing is, a lot of times people, nobody knows what's going on inside your head unless you tell them. So you might be feeling really insecure, but everybody else is too, and they're so worried about their own insecurity, they're not looking at you and judging you. And that's where if you can make them feel more comfortable, then they're going to think you're great. Goes back to point number 1, get them talking. But when you walk in the room, like, you take a deep breath, you get your posture right, you walk into the room, and you're nice to people, you're going to feel really good about that. And that actually brings me to my 3rd point, which is your posture. So stand up straight, sit up straight. First of all, this will keep you more alert and awake. When I see students in class like this, I'm about to lose them. I always make them sit up and wake up because once you're down here like this, you're going to fall asleep. So when you want to feel more confident, get your body helping you. So sit up straight, stand up straight, put your shoulders back. That will make you feel more energized, partly because, when you're slumped over, you're compressing your diaphragm. You can't really breathe as deeply, so you're short on oxygen, which is going to make you feel tired. So if you sit up straight, stand up straight, you can breathe more deeply, you're getting more airflow, and you're going to feel more energized, but you're also going to look confident. And my 4th tip, this is kind of a bonus, I wasn't planning on saying this, but don't tell everybody how nervous and scared and anxious you are. So when you're walking around all the time, like, I'm just really nervous, I just don't normally come to things like this, I just really don't know, I don't know anybody, then it just makes you look like you're not confident. So don't tell people that. And the truth is, other people probably feel that way too. So if you make a point to let other people feel welcome or involved or like they're interesting, you're going to feel really good about that. Sometimes if I go to an event and I really don't know a bunch of people, I'll pretend I'm the hostess. And so I'll just go around, I'll mingle, I'll try to introduce people. And that's a fun way to get people talking, but it helps me feel confident. Or I'll play a little game with myself where I'll say, today at this event, I'm going to speak to 3 people I've never spoken to before. You could do that in your classes. And I make a little game of it. And so for me, it's fun. And then when I leave the event, maybe I, watch an extra episode of my Netflix show to reward myself. But it's not about feeling confident, because you're going to have a lot of times in life when you don't feel confident, but you can still be confident. Now, College on Fleek is a dialogue, not a monologue, and we want to hear from you. So I want you to put in the comments, what is a confidence hack that you've had success with in the past? Just share that with us. And make sure you connect with us at collegeonfleek.com, and we'll see you next time right here on College on Fleek.